Hi, everybody. Welcome to SurrogateFirst presents Surrogacy Compensation and Benefits Explained. My name is Yessenia, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys today. I am currently a surrogacy educator at SurrogateFirst. I previously documented my journey online and gained over 230,000 followers, and by sharing my story on podcasts and in various news articles. And I am very passionate about teaching other people about surrogacy. Surrogacy truly has changed my life, and I was very grateful to become a surrogate. So I love to teach other people about surrogacy. So thank you so much for joining this webinar today. Before we get into the webinar, there are just a few things I want to go over before we get started. A few things about SurrogateFirst. Why you should choose us. So first, we have build your own compensation. Not all agencies have this, but you can choose whatever compensation fits you best. What you think your journey, what you would be comfortable with for your journey. We also have a health and wellness program. So there are different fit workout routines, meal plans. This program is 100% free to you if you decide to become a surrogate with us. We have all experienced GC coordinators. So basically what that means is that all the employees at SurrogateFirst have either been a gestational carrier or a surrogate, or they have been an intended parent. So you kind of get that more personalized touch when you're being cared for throughout your surrogacy journey. We have a Surrogate Plus program where you can earn up to $15,000 in additional compensation if you meet a certain requirements. And we also have a really supportive community of surrogates. We have a huge Facebook group of more than 200 surrogates who have been with SurrogateFirst, and we're there just to root and to support you throughout your journey. So that is just a few things on why you should choose us. We also have a surrogacy retreat that just started this year in 2014. So once you complete your surrogacy journey and once you complete your surrogacy journey with us, you are able to attend a cruise or a vacation with a group of other surrogates. And it's really something that sets SurrogateFirst apart. And I'm so happy I was able to experience it this year in 2014. So I hope you guys enjoyed that information. A few things that we're going to be talking about today for the overview is base compensation, milestones, reimbursable or monthly allowance expenses, dependent on circumstance, catastrophic, and some of our SurrogateFirst data and IP's total cost. These are just a few things we're going to be touching on when it comes to surrogate compensation and benefits, because when you're becoming a surrogate, let me turn this off. Stop sharing my screen really quick. One second. You know why it's being silly today? Sorry about that. Oh, there's the button I was looking for. Okay, there we go. But it is really important to know about your compensation when going into something as serious as surrogacy. So this webinar is just made to be informative, to share some information. And at the end, you can feel free to ask us questions below in the comments or in the Q&A box. We would love to answer your questions. So first, we wanted to talk about base compensation. So base compensation, I would describe as the main pregnancy pay for you during your surrogacy journey. This ranges right now in 2014 from $40,000 to $60,000 in base compensation. And that is another word I would say is the minimum you would receive as a surrogate. And that's just the base pregnancy pay. You do earn additional benefits prior to pregnancy and after pregnancy and during pregnancy, but that is basically for your pain and suffering, for everything that you're going through, your labor and delivery, everything a part of the process. Then we have milestone payments. So milestones are basically a bonus payment that you receive at different milestones in your journey, and this can vary from agency to agency. For example, at SurrogateFirst, you are able to get a legal clearance bonus. Sometimes you can substitute one of your base payments for this legal clearance bonus. So whenever you finish your legal process, you'll get a bonus. Another milestone would be maternity clothing allowance. So maternity clothing allowance is usually paid out at 12 to 14 weeks, depending on your contract. And that can look around like $500 to $700, depending on your contract. And once you hit a certain milestone, such as 12 weeks pregnant, you will get paid your maternity bonus, your maternity clothing allowance. So I think that's really amazing. Those are just a few that I can think of, but there are different milestone payments. So reimbursements. So reimbursements can be child care, they can be co-pays for doctor's appointments, different things like that. So for example, when I was a surrogate, whenever I would have to go to my doctor's appointments, I would have to typically pay a copay. Sometimes it would be $50, sometimes it would be $100, just depending on my insurance. And so the reimbursements, how it works is we'll pay it right now, but then you submit this to escrow, and then the escrow account will reimburse me for all the money that I spent. And also when it comes to childcare, if I need childcare when it comes to going to my doctor's appointments, if I'm on bed rest, different things like that. Like for example, I would have my mother-in-law take off of work to help me whenever I needed childcare. And then I would be reimbursed that. After the fact, I would submit my receipts, and then escrow handles all of those payments. So dependent on circumstance payments. Okay, this could look many different ways. It really depends on if this happens to you. So for example, when I was a surrogate, I did not complete a mock cycle. My clinic did not require it, but some of my other friends who are surrogates, they have to complete a mock cycle with their journey, a part of their IVF protocol. And so you will be reimbursed for doing your mock cycle because you are taking the medications. It is your time. It is a part of the journey. So for example, doing a mock cycle is a dependence on circumstance payment. Another thing that I would say is dependent on circumstance is another thing that is dependent on circumstance is carrying multiples. As a surrogate, most of the time you are going to be carrying one baby only, but every once in a while you will see a twin pregnancy. And that is another payment that is dependent on circumstance because it is not going to be included in your base compensation. So for example, if you're carrying an additional baby, you might earn $10,000, $15,000, $8,000. It really just depends on your contract. And then also, as well as amniocentesis. Some families would like this done if you are willing to, an amniocentesis test, and you are paid out if you would go through this procedure. Anything that is invasive an invasive procedure, you will be compensated for during the journey. Also, yeah, so that's pretty much just a few examples to run through. And then the next category is catastrophic. So this is a really sad subject, but it has to do with experiencing a miscarriage as a surrogate. It has to do with possibly losing a tube as a surrogate, or like the worst case scenario, having a hysterectomy. So basically catastrophic payments. These are decided at the beginning of your journey. And it's really a sad subject to even think about. But for example, if you were to lose your uterus or lose a tube or suffer with a miscarriage during your surrogacy journey, you would be compensated for it. And another thing to help protect the surrogate and her family is a life insurance policy is always in place. When you are going through surrogacy, just in case. But the catastrophic payments is really for like losing your ability to carry any more pregnancies and different things like that. I have here some SurrogateFirst data. Let me share my screen again. So this is from our SurrogateFirst survey that we had. This is data from 2019 to 2023. And this says surrogates received an average of $50,000 in compensation surrogates received an average of $50,000 in compensation. In 2019, it was around 46,000, and the most common range being $40,000 to $50,000. And this was a survey where we talked to more than 200 surrogates trying to get to learn about how much they got during their journey and to see how compensation is changing. And let me move myself to the side. And here we're talking about surrogate benefits. So benefits can range from agency to agency, but we wanted to know, what did surrogates receive in their benefit packages? So some examples are maternity clothing, travel expenses, legal services, medical insurance, life insurance, bonuses. Gifts from your agency are just some examples. And in 2023, we saw an average of $12,300 worth of benefits. And you can see all the data here. So yeah, so the benefits have increased from 35% in 2019 to 2023. And we expect that to continue to increase the benefits packages. But surrogates most often receive maternity clothes and travel expenses. So surrogates most often receive maternity clothes and travel expenses than in 2019. Around 60% receive medical insurance, life insurance, and legal services. Bonuses at different milestones have become much more common too. So just showing you how surrogacy compensation is forever changing. And this is just some of the data that we received. And here is some more data. Surrogates were overwhelmingly satisfied with their compensation, with 89% either satisfied or very satisfied. Only a minor minority were unsatisfied with their compensation. So you can see that we only have a 3% of people being unsatisfied. Most of the people were satisfied with their compensation. And if you were a surrogate this year, what would you expect for your base compensation? So the average base compensation will jump 22% to $61,000 for future journeys in 2023 is what we gathered from this data. And the average base compensation was $50,000 prior or completed journeys in 2023. So we got a lot of amazing information from our SurrogateFirst survey. If you want to read more about our SurrogateFirst survey, you can visit our website on surrogatefirst.com to learn more of this information. And so I wanted to talk about the intended parents cost, because a lot of people do seem to forget that these intended parents are spending so much money on this process. So the total cost for intended parents ranges from around $125,000 to $165,000. And this includes many different things. It includes health and life insurance, which is around $11,000 to $17,000. The surrogacy compensation is $45,000 and up. Embryo creation can be $20,000 to $50,000, depending on how many cycles, how many retrievals, medication, if they're using donor eggs, and different things like that. Working with the agency can range from $25,000 to $50,000. Attorney and courts and contracts can range from $10,000 and up, and miscellaneous compensation and reimbursements can be $5,000 to $10,000. So there's a lot of different variables when it comes to surrogacy compensation. And I would like for surrogates to remember that intended parents are typically not rich people. They're just amazing people that would love to have a family. So keeping our compensation reasonable is very important, because we want to keep surrogacy accessible for these families that are paying these high dollar amounts. And if you guys are interested in becoming a surrogate, we have a free surrogate consultation on our website. You can just take a few minutes to qualify and apply. And we also have a surrogate compensation calculator to help you pick what compensation would be the best for you. Thank you guys so much for joining this webinar with me today. My name is Yessenia Latore, and if you would like to email me, my email is Yessenia, Yessenia @surrogatefirst.com, and my phone number is 470-907-9957. That is my work phone, so feel free to text or call that phone if you have any questions directly for me. If you have any questions directly for me, thank you so much for joining this webinar today, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Thank you so much. Bye.